it really difficult, but what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We're here. And we're going to continue in what we've been doing, which is freedom from anxiety and worry, the course. Just want to give everybody a chance to be here and catch up and join. Get the post sorted, get it saved, add it to the guide. It's little fiddly things. But welcome everybody. Welcome. Whoever's here, I'm glad you're here. And keen to get started. We're going to be talking about self-trust, self-confidence, and competence, as well as capital P practice. Get kind of a lot on the menu. Hello, Bina. Hello, Bina. Hello, magical Bina. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. All right. We're going to get started in a second. Bina, just right off the bat, right? This module is about application to ensure lasting self-change and life change. And I feel that this is something that is important to you. Yes, application. The doing of it, the implementation, the practicing of things. Yes. Steve Gordon. Brilliant. Hello, Steve. Welcome. We're going to get started in 1 second. Yeah, I'd like to just when it goes live, especially since it took a little while to go live today. It took a little longer to get on here. But we'll get going in a second. We're going to be talking specifically about self-trust, self-confidence, and competence, as well as capital P practice. Now, the course that this is an ongoing course of, we've been doing this for many months now, because we're just going into real detail in it, is freedom from anxiety and worry. The module, this is module 6 that we're on. The module is called Application to Ensure Lasting Self-Change and Life Change. And then we in a little subsection inside this particular module, and this subsection is called self-trust, self-confidence, and competence. I'll go to it in a moment. Just going to do one more thing. Yeah, just pinning the post and pinning it to featured and pinning it to the top, and so that everybody can see it and notice it. Little things, but they all help. Brilliant. And then we get going. And give people a chance to come as well. So, many people said they're coming. So hello to everybody who is here, who hasn't said anything. I do much appreciate it when you put say hello or something in chat. And I know you're here. It's nice. And I like to know I'm talking to people. And please comment as much as you like. And ask questions. I love those. Those are very important to me. They're a big deal. All right. Brilliant. Okay. All right. Just one last person to say hello to. Well, see you there. Let them know. They're always keen to come. And they like it when I remind them in chat. So, okay. You are reminded. See you soon. Brilliant. So let's get started. Let's get started right away. And let me do the screen share and go right to the pertinent page here. All right. So as we see, last time we were on pertinence, relevance, and all important emphasis. And boy, I can't emphasize how important those are. Right. So then we carry on, and we're just carrying on inside the module just to give us space for those who haven't been here before. So this little section is on self-trust, self-confidence, and competence. The more we focus and emphasize the negative, our fears, worries, incompetencies, etc., the more we pull down our self-trust. The more we pull down our self-trust, the more we pull down our self-confidence. The less confident we feel, the more we reduce our competence. Very powerful sentence, right? It's consequential. In other words, if we're going to be focusing on the negative, we start to cause this pattern, this loop, this spiral that pulls us down. Not cool, not good, not ideal, not what we want. It's very key to be aware that self-trust is related to self-confidence. Self-confidence is related to competence. Yes, I mean it's kind of a duh, but it starts with that self-trust. And where does this the the impact, the pulling down of the self-trust come from? Always emphasizing the negative. Yes, why? Why not emphasize the positive also? Doesn't mean that you must be unaware of the things that you need to learn, but it doesn't have to be a negative. Yeah, I mean, when you look at a baby, right? Do you look at the baby and see a negative? No. You see potential, you see opportunity, you see growth, you see, well, why should you be any different to the baby? You don't know stuff, so what? The baby doesn't know stuff, so what? You're going to learn, you can learn, yes, same like the baby. No need to see the fact that you don't know as a negative, not at all. It simply means that you've got to learn, that's all. Very simple, very, very simple. Just because you don't know, it's not a negative, right? And you're never going to know everything. So if you want to insist on that mindset, you're always going to have a negative towards yourself because you're never going to know it all. as you as you learn more stuff comes. So uh, it's we want to learn, not we want to learn how to think, how to process, how to figure out. That's what we are. Then you don't have to be overloaded with data, right? There's too much data in the world. But if you know how to process, well, that's not a problem. So that's where your self-trust comes from. Yes. Developing strategies of competence, which aren't strategies of knowing the detailed information that you're always going to have to learn specifically when you need it. But when you have this ability to really process and think and be aware and be sensible and be sober and all of those type of strategies, and life is much easier, right? So you've got to learn to trust yourself. Very, very key. Worry and anxiety that create a downward spiral where we make things worse and worse, and our fears and doubts feed on themselves, producing the very things we are trying to avoid. And this is very key. This ties in with emphasis, right? The spiral, right? The more you fear things, the more you notice fearful things. It's the way the brain works, right? When you emphasize things, it literally rewires the brain to notice and observe that whichever is being emphasized and connect to more of what's being emphasized, right? You expand the nodes connect to similar nodes, and the pathways are accelerated. So this is what happens. So when you start emphasizing negative stuff, the stuff that you're worrying about and anxious about, that's emphasis, right? You tend to notice more of it. And eventually that's all you see in the world is you just see negative stuff to be anxious and to be worried about because you've trained your brain to do this. Yeah. So you end up living in a world full of stuff like that. The world isn't really like that. You're just seeing that part of the world. And this is our skill, our innate skill as human beings, is to filter the world. We cannot possibly handle and deal with all the information in our world. We'd be overloaded. It would be quite a problem for us, right? So when we just connect and interact with the world in general every day, we filtering stuff, right? But how we filter, this is the very key thing. So why filter the world and filter out all the good and the positive and only see the negative? I'm not saying do the reverse. You can do it predominantly, yes, but don't completely ignore the negative because then you're also going to get into trouble, right? But you don't have to emphasize it. I am aware there's negative in the world, acutely aware. I never forget it, right? Because I make a point to be aware of what's going on in the world, but I don't emphasize it. I de-emphasize it. Yes, I know they're dreadful, horrible people that do mean and terrible things. Do I need to sit and think about it all day now? No. Why? They're a small percentage. I'd rather think about the brilliant, awesome people like you, like the people I'm talking to now, that are just magical, wonderful, good people. Yes, they do good things every single day. Think about that. How many people do you know who do good things every single day? I don't care that they may do nonsense and idiotic and stupid and foolish things. I'm asking you, do they do good things? Yes. Do they make an effort to do good things? Yes. Do they try to be good? Yes. Why not focus on that? That is the vast, overwhelming majority of people. Just look around you. Every single person you know, in some way or another, is trying to be good. They may screw up in being good, but so what? Again, think of the babies. The baby tries to do stuff and it messes up, and you don't think twice about it. We're all babies. In the universal context, we're all babies. We're all babies, right? So we'll continue to read here. Knowing this, we can reverse the process. We can shift to focusing on being cautious, prepared, to pay attention to learning and growing instead of anxiety and worry, and to paying attention to the positive. Change your world. Emphasize the positive. Emphasize the magic. Emphasize the learning and growing. Get excited about learning and growing, about excited that you can learn and grow, that you have opportunity to learn and grow, rather than getting excited about fear and stress and worry and anxiety. Waste of energy, very inefficient usage of energy, massively, massively, massively inefficient. Yes, just totally, totally, utterly inefficient, total waste. Cheryl is here. John is here. Brilliant. Cher is here. Ramsey is also here. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, you were tagging them. I thought they all had come. What's George Hans here? Hello, George Hans. Hello, George Hans. Brilliant, brilliant. And I think John is here, right? Or did he just tag him? Anyway, brilliant, brilliant. That's great, the tagging, Bina. That's great. Sorry, I misread there. I thought they joined. John is here. John is here. Hello, John. Hello, hello, hello. Wonderful, wonderful. And Cher is here. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. So yes, of course, you guys all more than welcome. Already. You're more than welcome to come on Zoom itself. Experiences of learning happen every day. I just have to be aware and act. Yes, yes. See, what Cher says there, what Cher says there is to say, I have to be aware and act. Yeah, I would have liked to see a capital A on that act, but all right. Just me. Just me. I like to emphasize like that. But this act is very important, right, Sure? If you don't act on it, that awareness, it comes and it goes, and okay, you feel good for a day, but it doesn't really matter. Yes? Just to be aware is not enough. I cannot emphasize this enough. Just to be aware is not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. We have to act on that awareness also. This is absolutely critically key and important. Crucial, 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 crucial. Have to act on that. And that brings us to our next slide here, which is about capital P practice. Right. Capital P practice is a big, big deal. Now we're going to say, well, what's the difference between practice and capital P practice? Well, let's see. Let's see. Let's share again here. Change does not usually come about just because we understand it needs to. Change does not usually come about just because we understand it needs to. That helps and is certainly important and needed, but we also need to practice our change. We need to practice new habits or our change won't last long, as our old habits will reassert themselves. That is, after all, the nature of habits. They come unbidden and without our deliberate attention. That's it. A habit is an unawareness program that loops and loops and loops and comes back, right? Habits are by default designed to steal your unawareness, to steal your awareness, right? They get you to do something in unawareness. That's what makes them valuable, right? That you don't have to be paying attention. Yeah. It's very important this to understand. Exactly, Georgian. Sometimes you have to make yourself act when you don't feel like it. Precisely, precisely. That's discipline. That is discipline. And sometimes when it's a bit extreme, it's a bit forbearance, right? Facts. Awareness needs action to make a difference. Write that in your quote file, please. Write that in your quote file. This is a very powerful, powerful, powerful understanding. Awareness needs action to make a difference. Without understanding that connection, we simply think the realization, the awareness, the knowing, the understanding is enough. And this is unfortunately the bulk of where we go. We learn, we read books, and just look around you, right? If you're into self-improvement and you've got friends who are into self-improvement, how many self-improvement books do you have on your shelf? How many courses have you bought, etc., etc.? Dozens and dozens and dozens. You've been doing this all your life. And when the next new book comes out, you read it again. Why? Why do you need to keep redoing it and repeating it? Because it didn't stick. Why didn't it stick? Because it wasn't coupled with application. You believed you knew and learned and understood what was happening. You believed it. You believed it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. See, Sher just could not sit still there and listen. No, no, I've got to come and talk to Sylvia. I've got to tell him something. Ah, brilliant. Hello, Sher. Hello, 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 hello.
Hi, good
I love it.
morning.
I love it. I
I'm
love it.
gonna
I
mute.
love it. I love it.
I'm gonna mute for just a minute, okay? So
Okay, okay, okay. Very good. I love it. I love it. So this point of acting, this is, if you followed Sher's story, and if you haven't, make an effort to do so. You can find her in the guides tab in group. Just look, I think she's guide number 4, Sher's Journey or something like that it's called. I forget exactly the name, but just to me, it's just Sher's magic, Sher's moreness, Sher's awesomeness. And this is where, whenever Sher makes a post, I put it in the guide, right? So you can go back in the guide, because it's difficult in the group to go back and search. And even if you search, it doesn't all come in order. So you can go back and scroll through the guide and start and go. Now, we don't have all her posts because I only did kind of after she started time. It doesn't matter though. You get a good sense of what Sher's about, what she's sharing, what she's doing, and you'll see Sher's growth. You'll see her changes. You'll see her struggles. You'll see her epiphanies. You'll see her awarenesses. You'll see things that she's been doing and applying, right? So you really get an insight into Sher. But in this, you are going to see that most of those articles are about when something happens, when there's a doing of some kind, when she's applying of some kind. Just a realization is that follow up through action. Right, Sher? This is daily.
yeah,
This is daily, daily, daily. Yes?
it is actually, and for example, even just recently, you know, being aware that I'm in freeze mode, and it's a survival response, but there's hundreds. There are hundreds of survival responses, not just the
Yes,
4, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
exactly.
But just knowing that I'm actually in a freeze, that's an awareness. And then
Yes,
doing something about it. It's, I mean,
exactly.
'cause yeah, it's
Exactly.
so easy for us to
Exactly.
lean into that anxiety, to just chastise ourselves, to do all kinds of horrible things to ourselves when it's not necessary. All we really need to do is just go, oh, okay, well, I'm in freeze. What am I going to do about it? That's the,
Exactly. 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 And I have this saying where I say awareness is self-curative. Right?
that's it right there.
Right. Now you say, but so, well, wait a second. Did you just say a second ago that awareness alone is not enough? You've got to act. But that's the point of awareness. That awareness is saying, oh, this is what I need to do. And then you do it. It's like, duh,
Yeah.
right? You're aware that you were stuck in freeze. Well,
Hmm.
isn't it self-curative, that awareness that you were in freeze mode and you need to move and get out of it, right?
Yeah. And here's the other part to that is so many times we have, like you just said, self-curative. So many times when we get in those modes and we get in those parts of, that we believe we're in some kind of survival mode or something, all of a sudden we start to feel a little bit defeated if we allow it. And then we
Yeah.
look outside of ourselves for other people to help us, to fix us, to give us the answers when that answer is right there within us the whole time. All we really
Yes.
need to do is just reach within, or even if you can't do that, I mean, just at the very least, ask for support. But
Yeah.
first gut instinct is, oh gosh, who can I talk to fix this? Well, look within first. Just
Yeah.
look within.
Yeah. 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 So awareness is crucial. Absolutely, essentially crucial. However, the point of awareness is to enable us to act in some way. Now, that action can be internal or external. That action can be changing my mood, changing my habit, changing my mindset, changing my attitude, right? Expanding my awareness. Many actions are internal, but it still needs to be an action of some kind, right? Otherwise, the awareness is just, oh, okay, well, I had an awareness, I had epiphany, yeah, so what? But I'm the same as I was yesterday, right? So think of those memes. I always bring this up, right? I give the poor memes a hard time. How many wonderful, brilliant, awesome, sublime, super awesome, profound, brilliant memes haven't you seen? Right? And you're like, whoa, man, that's so deep. That's so awesome. What was that meme about again? That was so deep and so awesome. The one you saw, like, I don't know, what was it, like 4 days ago? Please, can anybody tell me what they saw? No one. Yeah.
Uh-uh.
See, because it came and it went. You simply got stuck in this belief that your epiphany is going to change you. It doesn't. Sorry. You've got to act on it. That's how your body double checks against yourself. Because if you just go around getting all excited about everything, and if you were changed by every time you went, whoa, yeah, you're going to be changing just like this. And sometimes those woes, they seem kind of cool, but then you think a bit about it a bit more. It's like, well, actually, now that I think about it, not really. Or like, your girlfriend comes and tells you something, and you jump on the bus, and okay, well, you end up with pink hair and buzz cut halfway through or whatever. You know, see, you can't just listen to everything that somebody says is great and awesome. So you have to have a bit of pause, and you have to think it through. So that's why the system is this way. We don't just automatically change when something comes that's brilliant and awesome and wonderful and a lot of energy to it, right? There has to be some discernment. We have to apply it deliberately for it to stick. Then we are kind of a double check that we're not just jumping on the bandwagon here and adopting something foolish. Yes. So that's why action has to go with realization, with awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just goes in one ear, out the other ear, right?
I do
It's
want
your
to,
go ahead, go
yeah,
ahead.
I was just going to say too, though, so the action doesn't have to be enormous. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
profound or even grand.
Exactly.
It can be something as simple as
Yeah.
doing a sensory exercise,
Yeah.
something to
Yeah.
help keep you in the present moment.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
simple little
Yeah.
act. And then it doesn't have to be all day long. We get in that mindset, I think, too many times of, if it's not making a difference right away, if we don't see it or feel it making a difference, then it must not be working. That's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. 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 And Georgianne says, and how can you help others when you haven't helped yourself? Exactly. That's
Oh,
just arrogance.
perfect.
That's just
Yeah,
arrogance. Now,
perfect.
just to be precise, because we like discernment, yes, and discernment is part of this. So we got awareness. We start with awareness, then you
Uh-huh.
apply discernment. Yes. So this
Yeah.
is the starting process. Awareness, discernment. What is discernment? Discernment is looking at the layers, thinking it through, looking at all the different angles, really untangling it, figuring it out, right? Processing it, in other words, like maximum sophisticated processing. That's discernment. And this
Uh-huh.
leads to understanding. Now, if we discern what Georgianne said, right? How can you help others when you haven't helped yourself? Typically not, but sometimes you can. It is actually possible. And so this does happen sometimes, but it does tend to make that a little bit hollow or hypocritical, right? If you don't want to make the effort yourself, but you're telling me to make the effort, okay, it might help me, but still, don't use helping me as a substitute for making the effort to do something yourself, right? Now
Yeah.
you are doing it really when you're helping me and not helping yourself. Starts to bring your motives into question. Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
do you really believe in this? Or are you just helping me so that you can get some shine and look good and whatever? And meanwhile, you're just a lazy bones who doesn't want to do anything and, making excuses or indulging in self pity or whatever. Many reasons why people don't want to help themselves, right?
Right.
Or stuck in negative doubt, self-doubt. I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's very important to make that effort to help yourself too. And the more you help yourself, you are automatically going to help others. Just by
Mhm.
example. You don't have to go and do anything. You can just be an example. You can just be, and that makes a difference in the world. Yes.
That's
So
why sharing is so important.
exactly, exactly. And just think of it from a health point of view, right? If you're
Hmm.
healthy, you help the world by being healthy. Because when you're
Hmm.
sick, you cause problems, right? Like if you got a, at least from an infectious point of view, right? And contagious point of view. So if you got some virus or flu, whatever, if you're sick, you go walk around with your flu, you give everybody else the damn flu. Thank you very much. Bugger off, go home, take care of yourself, right? But when you help the healthy, you're helping the world by see, thinking about that now. So the power of suggestion. But when you're healthy, you help the world by not making it sick. See, by preventing it. So you prevent the chain of things. It doesn't go. Okay, so the virus comes to me, and well, okay, I'm healthy. I've got high immunity. Bounce. I don't pass it on to anybody else, right? So you prevent that block in the chain. So you make an inordinate difference just by being healthy. Yes,
Yeah.
it's not always obvious, but it's very powerful. Very, very powerful. Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you, Georgianne. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That makes me happy to hear. That makes me happy to hear. So let's get back to action, right? Action. And what were you saying, Sher? You said doesn't have to be a big thing. Can be a tiny, 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 tiny little thing. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It can be something as simple as scribbling. Honestly, scribbling is it's kind of one of my
Yes.
go-to things. Doodling, scribbling.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Show us
you
some examples, please.
what's that?
Show us some examples. Action.
Oh, well, yeah.
Find your
Okay,
latest
doodling.
scribble and hold it up to the camera, or take a
Oh,
screenshot and post it or something.
oh
Doesn't matter.
well, I've got plenty in there. Remember, I'm on my
That's a-
phone. Remember, but yeah, scribbling, doodling.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, anything that kind of helps to me anyways, this is what helps
Yeah.
me is what I call sensory activities, things that will stimulate um, sometimes even the vagus nerve, um, like a cold shower,
Yeah.
cold
Yeah.
water, splashing it
Yeah.
on the back of
Yeah.
my neck. And like I said, doodling, scribbling, journaling.
There you
Journaling is
go. There
huge
you
for
go.
me.
There you go.
Um,
There you go. There you go.
all those little things that we
Mood
do to help
shifting.
ourselves. Yeah. Well, see,
Yes.
there it is right there. It's mood shifting, time
Exactly.
management, mood management,
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
any
Just
little tiny thing.
that little extra bit of awareness to say,
Yeah.
what am I doing? And the key is, does it result in some small change? Right
Right.
now, there's no such thing as small change and big change really in the end of the day, right? It's
No, there's
change,
not.
and change makes a difference. So anybody who's ever been into programming knows the power of the comma or
Yeah,
the
that's true.
dash
Pause.
or some
Hmm.
ridiculous punctuation, right?
Yeah.
You have that one comma in the wrong place and your whole program doesn't work.
You know what
Power
that
of
reminds
little
me
tiny
of?
things. Yes.
I was
So
gonna say that reminds me of when you just said the power of the comma. It reminds me that that to me is procrastination, and there is power in procrastination. That it's there intentionally. It's a pause. Procrastination is a purposeful pause. It's your
yes.
body, your mind, your
Yes.
spirit telling you,
Yes.
stop, slow down, take a moment, and
Yes.
just be present.
Yes. Yes. Pay
That's an action.
attention. In other words, pay
Yeah.
attention. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Hmm.
Pay attention. This is the key, just don't be a lump in the world that's, just being pushed around by the forces. No, pay attention, think, do, and make that little tiny change. See, little tiny changes can be super, super important. So we got this big, huge, big train, my favorite example, right? I mean, literally, have you been close to a train, right? That's a huge, great, big, heavy thing, thousands of tons, right? So if you want to change the direction of the train, right? Well, if you're going to try and stop the train and push against it, well, obviously, you're not even going to make a difference. The train not even going to notice you. However, if you say, hang on a second, hang on a second, yeah, this isn't working. I got to find some better methodology here. How can you change the direction of the train? You yourself, you individual, you one little person. Well, you just go up the track a little bit. You go find the shunting lever and you pull the shunting lever. Boom. Suddenly the chain gets shifted onto another track. Oh, now the train's going a whole other different direction, right? And that track might be a curved track, and it ends up going the other. Just saying. See, so when we apply our energies effectively, strategically, sensibly, thoughtfully, makes all the difference, right? So that comma needs to be put in the right place. Shunting lever, that's a comma right there. See, put it in the appropriate place. Makes that little pause, that little shift, that little change. Little changes can lead to big results. Let me repeat that. Little changes can shunt you into big, massive changes. Yeah. Bina says, sometimes we assume that if a person, him or herself, is having some consequences of some past situations or habits, they cannot share their awareness to help others. For me, they can, as long as they have an earnest desire to share. Exactly, exactly, exactly. We don't have to necessarily have to have the solution in order to be of value. We can share our process. We can share our thinking. We can share our struggles. We can share our options. And through that, through the sharing, we get perspective on ourselves. Because when you're going inside your head there, you're just bouncing off the inside of your head, not always very clear, right? Got shadow thoughts going on there. But we can, when we share like this, we can certainly share awareness, and this helps everybody. Yes. So the difference is what Bina is saying there, right, Bina? It's about sharing as opposed to what Georgianne was implying in her comment was about helping somebody. This is a specific doing with the intent to help. Venus, what you commenting here and what Shay is saying is an intent to share, which is very different.
Mhm.
I'm sharing. I know that my sharing is going to potentially be beneficial. It may or may not, but I'm sharing because it benefits me and potentially benefits everybody else. It's just a good thing to do, right? It's like when the trees put out oxygen. Well, that's a good thing to do. Well, that's our
Right.
equivalent of oxygen is sharing, right? And you can use it or not. It's up to you. It's like sunlight. You can do with it as you wish, right? The sun doesn't stop sharing its sunlight because weeds grow from it. All right. Well, better be careful because people love weeds, including me. Right. But or sunlight can cause harm. It can cause things to wither. It can cause things to burn. Whatever. Right. So sunlight isn't always beneficial. It's how you use it. You've got to use it appropriately. Same thing with awareness. Right. Got to use it appropriately. But it's still a good thing to have. Right. Because without sunshine, there's no life. So same thing, without awareness, there's no life. Awareness, sunshine, same thing. Same thing, same thing. So it's very key. We can share our failures too. Exactly. Sharing is the key as opposed to wanting to help specifically. This is an assumption that I know what is good for you. In other words, arrogance. Maybe inadvertent arrogance. Say, yeah, but coming from the goodness of my heart to help. Yes, I appreciate that. Beautiful, wonderful, good people. You want to help. It's deep inside you. It's simply how you help that is of issue. Help via
Mhm.
sharing. Help via sharing. That's it. Share. Help yourself. You help others. The most optimum help. By sharing, you help yourself. You're getting discussion on things that you want to figure out. And then your process, right? Like Sher's articles, right? You're sharing, right, Sher? That's why your name
Yeah.
is, I should call you Sher, not Sher. That's why your
Yeah.
name is Share, because you share. And the more you share, the more you benefit. But of course, everybody else benefits too. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
the
Because
optimum system. Yeah.
well, it also brings to my awareness, just the act of writing out a situation, it helps me process it. And when I'm processing it, then I'm not in that mode of survival or freeze or victim or
Exactly.
any of those things.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
actually doing something to help
Yeah.
myself. And
Yeah.
then when I share it out there, it may resonate with somebody. Somebody else may go, "Oh wow, you know what? I've experienced that too. Okay, now I don't feel so weird. I'm
Exactly.
it,
Exactly.
somebody else has this."
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And we like the idea that we may help somebody, but we can't do it for that reason
No,
only. Yes.
no.
No, it has to be pure. It has to be pure. If it helps somebody, if Brilliant. But I can't do it because I think it's going to help somebody. Because now I'm starting to get into that arrogant territory where I assume I know that this is going to be worthwhile and helpful. And I'm deciding for others what's helpful. No, 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 no. That's
Right.
just a road to problem, right? And who here has not had people who say, yeah, but it's good for you. And they did terrible, horrible things to you, and it was dreadful, and you hated every minute of it, and it didn't help you in any way whatsoever, but they believed it would be helpful to you, right? Because they didn't have a clue what was going on inside you. So don't be that person who's doing help people and causing trouble because you think you know what's going on inside somebody else, right?
Exactly.
Don't be
No
that
one,
person.
right. No one understands us better than ourselves.
Exactly, 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 exactly. It doesn't mean that you cannot get assistance. Of course you can, because
We
when
can.
1 + 1 equals more. This is the
Yes.
magic of collaboration, but only when collaborating, right? When you're not collaborating, when you're competing, then it's not 1 + 1, then it's 1 - 1, right? Kind of, right?
Right.
They start to cancel each other out, kind of a thing. So you see, it's very important to be collaborating, and this is what sharing is. It's collaboration. It is the
Mhm.
most profound, wonderful, awesome, magical collaboration. Yes. Sharing
Yes.
is just brilliant. Sharing is totally just magic, and it has such a sweetness to it as well. Sharing is just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome. So let's go back to our capital P practice here. Let me screen share and continue on this, because capital P practice is there's a couple of nuances that are very important with capital P practice. Right, sure?
Yes.
Right. All right, so I'm going to read the whole slide now. Change does not usually come about just because we understand it needs to. That helps and is certainly important and needed. But we also need to practice our change. We need to practice new habits, or our change won't last long, as our old habits will reassert themselves. That is, after all, the nature of habits. They come unbidden and without deliberate attention. Thus, we have to be most diligent with the implementation of our new ways of being until they become deep new habits themselves. But hopefully, now they are more deliberate and have come about because we choose them and intend them. Practice helps us fine tune and refine these new power habits, which add to us instead of pulling us down. I want to make a crucial point here. When we implement these new habits, we call them capital H habits in Way of Impeccability, because these are habits of deliberation, habits of awareness, habits that come, yes, they come regularly, but they don't just come of their own. They come and we're aware that they come, like the aforementioned power pause that Show was talking about, right? All right, you were talking about procrastination being this kind of a clue from the universe to take a power pause. But a power pause is simply something that you're going and you don't just immediately respond. You don't immediately jump. You just have that few seconds, sometimes microseconds even, because inside the brain, seconds go much faster than outside, right? So the big time gap there. So when you take this power pause, it just lets you assess, and you don't just respond with the first thing that popped into your brain. You say, oh, well, hang on. Oh, power pause. What are the other options? Let me perspective shift to multiple perspectives. Let me think this through a bit. I might not have time to think it through to the end, but at least let me think it through a little bit, right? Just doing that alone prevents you from saying the first stupid thing that popped into your head, right? And that came out of your mouth. Just that few microseconds of power pause changes everything, right? But now you're doing it deliberately and consciously. It's not happening inadvertently. Yes, because you've done it regularly, it does come up, but you're choosing every time to power pause. This is the difference between an inadvertent habit and a power habit, is that always with power habits, capital H habits, you have this opportunity to choose what you're doing. Regular habits, you don't. You just do whatever it does, and then the next thing you realize, oh, I was doing it, and I was in this bubble of unawareness, right? And that causes lots of trouble. Sometimes the habits are good, yes, but they also prevent you from other options, right? And you just do things mindlessly. There's the other part, the problem with habits. They get you to do things mindlessly. It may save you effort, but you're not living when you're in that unaware state of the bubble of the habit, right? You're not really living. It's like, somebody said, oh, I just finished my coffee. I drank it without habit, but I didn't even realize I was drinking it. So did I enjoy my coffee or not? See,
Good
you
point.
just drank it. You know, it was such a habitual thing that you didn't even realize and weren't fully consciously aware that you were drinking that. But when you do it deliberately, you drink, oh man, every sip is a joy. And so see, live deliberately changes everything. Living
Yes, it
deliberately
does.
changes absolutely everything. It's a massive, massive big deal.
It doesn't, something else too about living deliberate, it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. Um,
No, hell
living,
no,
living
hell no.
deliberately includes all of it,
Right, right, right. So,
the ups and the
so
downs.
exactly, exactly. Now, this is talking about being perfect. Take just one simple thing. Go out and play a game. I don't care what game it
Oh,
is, any game, right? And compare it to whatever activity you were doing that's not playing a game, right? What's the difference? Deliberate. When you play a game, you're doing so deliberately, and that's why you
yes.
love it, and it's what makes it joy and fun. Right? Try and play a game undeliberately, the same way you do your housework or your work or whatever, the things that you do undeliberately that are boring and whatever for you. Yeah. See the difference? When you do it deliberately, it becomes joy and fun. Now, try and do the things that you do just unthinkingly. Try and do them deliberately. They say, yeah, but my housework is boring no matter what I do. Oh, you think so? Really? Okay. So now when you're going and you are dusting your shelves, okay, whatever, right? So instead of dusting the shelves, think of it as dusting your habits. Take that first shelf that you come to. Oh, this is my habit of just always saying stuff without thinking, without power pausing. Oh, let me take that away. Let me clean that up. Oh, okay. So now I'm going to start thinking. You see, now your dusting has taken on a whole different activity. You're now cleaning your insides, right? Wow, what an activity. See, self improvement activity. It's actual action. When you associate a physical activity with a psychological, a spiritual, an emotional activity, a mental activity, this is a profound, profound thing. It's extra emphasis, you see?
But
So take all your housework, polish your spirit when you're polishing your silver. If you still polish silver, I don't know if people still do that or not, but in case.
I don't
Yeah.
think anybody these days can really afford silver sets.
Oh,
Um,
I want polishing your brass then.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you were talking about dusting, a lot of times I used to have that idea of, oh God, this is drudge work. But
Yeah.
honestly, when I dust, I like to take things off my shelves and then I remind myself where
Yeah.
I got that object, where it came
Yes.
from, what it meant to me, what that memento is, and
Exactly.
why do I
Exactly.
even still have it? Is it really important to me? That can also tie back into your habits. Why do I still have this
Exactly.
specific habit?
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you can really
Exactly.
just let your mind start to wander about all
Exactly.
of that stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And Georgianne, let's not just stick with dusting our habits. What about
Now,
dusting your emotions? Say,
washing your dishes.
wow, my emotions have gotten a bit dusty. They're not shining. They're a bit dull, right? Because when things are dusty, then they
Oh,
kind of get dull, right? And
yep.
and it's like, wow, oh, I need to dust my habits. I need to refresh them. My emotions, my moods, my feelings, my attitudes, my mindsets. Let me
Uh-huh.
dust this up here. Okay, so today I'm going to just be a bit more eager.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe eagerness. What about a little bit more earnest? Ooh, yes, earnestness. You know what? That's a mood. That's a mindset. That's an attitude. That is a perspective. Well, yeah, that's got a lot of dust on it, man. I can hardly see it under all that dust. Well, let me bring out my earnestness, right? Georgianne, how about this? Dust your earnestness. Earnestness is an incredible power. I cannot emphasize this. It's like emphasis, right? Earnestness is a magical power. That's that
It,
earnestness. Say, go around your
and
life today, just today, right? Go around your home. I don't care if you're just you alone doing nothing else, but whatever you do it earnestly, with deliberate earnestness. Make your coffee earnestly. Sit on the computer, scroll through Facebook with great earnestness. You're going to see how your life is enhanced, right? Just by
yeah,
dusting earnestness. Now, that's just one thing that you've dusted. If you dust one mood, one attitude, one mindset every single day, and then, of course, tomorrow, you've got to keep earnestness dusted and sincerity and joy and appreciation, right? Whatever, all of these. This is all stuff in the dictionary of power. You keep them all dusted, your life is going to be
You can
incredibly
also,
enhanced.
I was gonna say too, you can also apply, um, for me, housework. CJ likes to help so that, he can of course earn some money.
Wonderful,
But
wonderful.
for me, what I like to do, and then there's times where it's like, no, I really want to do it myself. And I tell that to myself because to me, it's a meditation.
Exactly,
A lot of times
exactly,
my housework is that time for
exactly,
me just to be
exactly,
deliberate, to be
exactly,
mindful of my actions and my
exactly,
mood and my emotions.
exactly.
So I have to let him do it too, though, because,
Yeah,
he can
yeah,
develop
yeah, yeah, yeah,
those aspects.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Washing dishes, doing your laundry, washing
Yes,
anything, your
yeah,
windows, all of that stuff, everything can be done with it. For me anyways, I like to do it with a mindset, like I said, of minimizing. What am I doing?
exactly,
I need this for.
exactly, exactly. That question, if you want to have one thing to do, right? Because we're talking about application, capital P practice, just one thing. Set this power habit of asking yourself, what am I doing? And it's a capital D doing. So when you
Yes,
say,
it
what
is.
am I doing? I don't mean, oh, well, I'm moving my mouse here. No, what am I doing? Oh, I'm learning, I'm focusing, I'm shifting, I'm practicing mood management, I'm practicing being deliberate, I'm practicing emphasizing my habits, I'm practicing power pausing. Those are things that you're doing every day. You are doing those. So whenever you say, what am I doing? Think of it in this bigger picture, right? This abstract. And when you say, what am I doing? Oh, yes, that's right. I'm practicing mood management. I'm
Mhm.
practicing, right? I'm dusting my moods, my emotions, my habits. Wow. See, what am I doing? Because you get caught up in those bubbles of unawareness. They remove you from what you are doing. The capital
Absolutely, they
D
do.
doing, that the big picture doing. So this one thing, and teach it to children. Ask
Yeah,
yourself, just get them into the habit of saying, what am I doing? Just to pop you out of that bubble. It's an incredibly potent mechanism for breaking habits and popping you out of that bubble, right? Very,
right.
very potent. All right. So I want to share the quote here that's coming up next. Powerful stuff, people. Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. This is stuff that makes a difference. And of course, since our focus is anxiety and worry, right? Every time you're in that anxiety and worry bubble, say, what am I doing? Oh, I'm being worrying and anxiety. What can I replace it with? I can replace it with caution, with deliberation, with being prepared. I can replace it with positivity. I can replace it with seeing all the options, not just the negative options. Yes, I can replace it with looking at the actual statistics involved. If worry pods start looking at statistics, all their worries are going to go away. Life panic is lack of trust, which is a lack of self-trust, which is a lack of self-confidence and a self-assuredness, resulting in lack of joy and unempowers us.
Absolutely factual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please don't life
100%.
panic, people. It's just a spiral that we get caught up in. Yes. Now, panic can kill you. Yes. You know what
Yes.
happens sometimes when people are in a fire, right? The house is on fire. They're in the room, and the fire's on the walls, right? And they panic, and they literally run around in little circles, literally like on that little spot, right? I don't know what to do because, and of course, what happens eventually, the house is burning more and more, and the opportunity to get out goes away, and of course, they end up burning to death. Yes, I mean it's a sad reality. Yes, it's a very very sad reality, but it happens. So don't be panicking because panic reduces your options, right? So and it's
Mhm.
that's why did that person panic? Because they didn't trust themselves to be able to do something. Yes, they didn't know
Right.
what to do. Doesn't matter that you don't know what to do. You know what not to do.
Well, sometimes too, though, it could be a point of not trusting others.
Exactly. Exactly. But you know what
Like with
not
me.
to do. Right. So if you
Right.
don't trust
Well,
them, don't trust them. Move on to trusting something else. Right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what I did the other day. I don't
There
trust
you
other
go.
drivers.
There
And
you
so
go.
I had to trust my own instincts, which was stop what I'm doing and just turn around and go home.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. So I want to add some more to capital P practice. Right.
Okay.
What makes capital P practice the difference from regular practice? Because when you're going into practicing something, yes, deliberate, absolutely. And also you're doing it because you want to. Now, when you're going into capital P practice, what makes it capital P practice is the awareness and the knowledge that initially it's going to likely be awkward, uncomfortable, discombobulating, stressful, whatever, because you don't know what you're doing, right? And well, you're doing it wrong. That's what capital P practice is. It is deliberately going into doing something that you don't know what to do. So in other words, you're deliberately going and you're going to do something wrong. Why? Because you're going to learn by doing it wrong. When I go and play my new musical instrument, I'm playing oh my God, it sounds terrible. I know I'm doing it wrong, but I learn how not to do it through doing that. And eventually I hear a nice little sound. Ooh, that sounds good. Oh, let me try that again. Ah, okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm playing now. See, it's just a matter of getting through that. But think of it this capital P practice when it comes to things that's not just you on your own. Like, for instance, if you got to practice coming on Zoom, doing a live, right? I mean, most of my friends, when this is well, it's been around a little while now, but I've got plenty of friends who it was new coming on doing a live, and they were very uncomfortable and awkward in the beginning. Oh, I'm not sure what to do. And I said, well, you just got to do it. Initially, you're all awkward, but the moment you start doing it, a few minutes in, and you say, "Wow, this isn't so bad." Is well, okay, and then you say it's not half, and suddenly you go from being awkward and uncomfortable to being comfortable because you realize through the doing you adapt and adjust and you automatically change, and suddenly you find yourself doing something. The only thing that was causing you to be uncomfortable was the idea that you didn't know what to do. But of course, once you do it, then you say, well, now I know what to do because I've done it. It's a very silly loop. So capital P practice is remembering the previous times you engaged in an activity and you had no clue what the hell you were doing and you were all uncomfortable, but you persisted and you did it anyway. And very quickly, exponentially, right, the things changed and built on themselves, and you learned right there in the moment, and suddenly you find yourself going from uncomfortable to being comfortable. Happens very quickly. The more you do this, the more you get comfortable with going through that initial awkward phase. And you can step into a situation, say, okay, yeah, I know I'm going to be a bit awkward, but so what? And you persist through it, and it doesn't take long. And the next thing, you're comfortable. This is the magic of capital P practice, right? You've got to simply do it and get through that first part and give yourself, your body, your mind, your psychology, your emotions, give it that opportunity to be able to adapt and update. Unfortunately, so many people never ever do this. I told the story last week of how I would teach people to flip open knives, right? They do it once and give it back to me. No, I can't do this, right? Because they didn't succeed the first time. Once, 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 people, once. Yeah, that's it. One try. It's like, man, how arrogant are you to think that you're going to get something right on the first try, and if you can't get it right, then you can't do it. What a nonsensical, idiotic idea! Just totally ridiculous, absurd, right? Of course, I persisted and I pressed them a little bit, and I got them to do this, and I've taught thousands of people to do this, right? So, but because I understood, you just need to persist a little bit through that initial awkward phase. So I'd make it a bit more comfortable for them and maybe put a bit of pressure on them also to do so. Yeah, bullied a few people. All right, sorry, people, but they were very happy in the end. Anyway, oh, it was a big experiment, for me as a psychological test situation. So there was method to my madness. But anyway, it had very good results. I never had anybody who didn't succeed in doing it. So it's very cool, and just overcoming that little bit of initial hurdle of feeling stupid. So what, people? So what? So what? So what? Only you think you look stupid. Nobody else does. Yeah. So, and if they do, tough luck. Then they stupid to think you're stupid for not knowing how to do something initially. If people are going to be stupid, then leave them to be stupid. Don't you join the club by also being stupid because they being stupid, right? So don't make it this vicious circle. So capital P practice is saying, yeah, I'm going to feel a bit stupid for a few minutes. So what? And you go into it, you learn, you see how quickly you can learn, and the next thing you say, well, that wasn't so bad. What was I worried about? What was I afraid of? This is very key. And the more you do this, the more your confidence builds. Because I can go and do pretty much anything now because like I don't really care if I look stupid. I don't even feel stupid. I won't know. Initially, I may be a bit uncertain, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Oh, now I've got two shares. I see share, yeah. Yeah, see, I got two shares now. Brilliant. Hello, sure. Again.
Yeah, I'm back. My Zoom dropped off.
Yeah. It's still showing you though, which is fascinating. So there's two of you now. Yeah. So,
It just kept telling me Zoom's not responding. It's like that.
yeah. It's stuck. It's stuck. You see, if you look at screen, you can see you're still there. Still there.
Yeah.
All right. So to finish off here, I want to just go over the tasks and exercises. I don't usually do them because this is for you to do on your own. And the idea in this was people to come and do this and do repeat backs and takeaways, but it never materialized that way, just the nature of the world. So, but still, the tasks and exercises are very handy, right? So first one here, make a list of what you regularly emphasize and why. What can you change it to instead of it's not what you want? Wow, did I write that right? What can you change it to instead or what can you change it to instead if it's not what you want? All right. Needs a comma there. All right. So this is key, right? Make a list of what you regularly emphasize and why. What do you regularly emphasize, Georgianne? You do things over and over again, and one day you will learn by repetitive actions, which in turn leaves consequences. And one day you learn not to do the same thing that didn't help in the beginning. Exactly. And that whole process, Georgianne, it can be greatly facilitated via awareness. Yes, because mostly we do these repetitive things over and over again because we get caught up in a bubble of unawareness. Yes. We don't even know we're doing it. That's the point of what am I doing? What am I doing? Pop yourself out of that bubble of unawareness so that you don't end up doing things unnecessarily. Eventually you'll get there, yes, but we can speed up the process a little bit by being deliberate, right? So one of the deliberate things you can do is make a list of what you regularly emphasize and why. It's amazing. This is now geared towards people who have anxiety and worry. It's amazing how much they emphasize negative stress, potential problems. Yes, sure.
Yes.
Not actual problems, potential problems, right? And what can you change it to instead if it's not what you want? Change that list. Change. How is pertinence and relevance connected to attention and motivation? Also, how does your intent factor into this? That's a massively huge question. If you really, really want to do yourself a massive favor and you want some change in your life, answer this question. It's a huge question. I mean, this you could probably, write a little mini book on. Yes. Right. This is a big question here. Two of them, right? Big deal, right? Also, how does your intent factor into this? How is pertinence and relevance connected to intention and motivation? When you understand that, your whole life's going to change, right? Are you in charge of your perceptions and perspectives of the world? Sure.
Am I?
Yes.
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 Yes. Were you?
What? No. I mean, I always have been. I just believed that I wasn't. So,
Thank you. Thank you for that nuanced discernment there. Now there you hear the consequence of somebody who's been paying attention and working on themselves very diligently, who understands
thank you.
that extra comment in the end. The first one was like, well, yes, not always. But then she modified it. And she said, right, yeah, but actually, I just didn't believe so. Yeah. Very, very powerful understanding of the self. We are nincompoops because we believe we need to be. We do foolish things because we have no self-trust, no self-confidence, not because we are foolish. Yes, it's unnecessary. Our foolishness is very unnecessary, right, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, very,
exactly.
very powerful. Do you trust yourself that you can adapt and change and learn, sir?
I do now. Yes, I do
I
now.
do now. Exactly. Exactly. So I want to use Sure as an example because to me, right, Sure, if
Yeah,
I and I feel the same way as you do. Say, well, you know what? If Sure can do it, I can do it.
this is true.
To me, in other words, if Sure can do it, I think anybody in the world can do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you
I'm
can.
not being negative towards you, right? But
No,
this
no,
is the
you're not.
massive
You're not. It's just
positive.
Well,
Say
it is positive, and I take it as
exactly,
positive, and that's just because, but
exactly,
you do understand the entire
exactly.
story.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. And I understand that sure didn't come out of all of the stuckness that she was in and the lack of awareness that she was in, the habits that she was in, because she's got some magic gift or superpower that came down to her from the heavens. No,
oh,
she did it
heavens, no.
through sheer dint of determination and effort, right?
Yes,
That's it. She
yes,
wanted to and said, that's it. That's all that mattered. That want was the one little comma that got put in that changed everything, was that shunting lever. I am going to do it. That's it. End of story, right? I am going to. It's that decision, that one decision that said, I'm going to do it. And then you started doing, and little to little, and little by little leads to leaps and bounds. That's it, right?
yes,
Gets
yeah.
to more and
And
more.
I made that
Uh,
decision a
Right.
little over 4 years ago. Yeah, so
Exactly. You
it wasn't done overnight. That's for sure.
exactly, exactly. But you did. That's the key, though, right? You did. You kept pulling those little shunting levers, right? So you shunted the train, and you said, "Well, you know what? That train doesn't look like it's going much different to me, but actually, it's going just 1 degree difference." Then you shunt
Yes,
it again, and well, if you keep shunting it only 1 degree at a time, eventually, 180 times later, it's going the other way. Yeah,
right, right. And what I've recognized too is that it's even in my times when I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, where I thought that the direction was going awry, it wasn't. I wasn't going backwards.
exactly,
I was
exactly,
usually only
exactly.
not stalled, but I was usually just in this holding pattern of, okay, waiting for what came next or waiting for something to absorb, to connect, to make sense to me.
Yeah,
And then once it
yeah,
did,
yeah.
it would take off again. So,
Yes, yes. Exactly what Bina says. If she can do it, anybody can do it. Same with you, Bina. Same
uh-huh,
with you. Yeah. Bina has a very different life arc to Bina. Now, we have to say, yeah, no, but I didn't go through all the things like so terrible. You know what? When it comes to you individually, let me take this off screen share. I want to make a very big point here, right? We cannot get into this trap that assume because I didn't have the same experiences that sure that my experiences don't mean anything. This is absolute
exactly,
nonsense, right? This is absolute
exactly,
nonsense idea. To your psychology, I may have a pimple on my nose and it's the end of the world to me. And it's as big a terrible thing as my child dying. And that sounds really superficial. uh, But psychologically, for you, when you've got a massive big problem and it's sucking up all of your attention, your awareness, and your energy, it doesn't matter what it is. The end result is the same. There's no grading to problems. When a problem takes you over and consumes you, it's the biggest thing in the world for you in that time and
right,
moment, right?
right.
Doesn't matter what it is, right? Doesn't matter what it is. So be
And that's,
aware that there's no grading to having problems and struggles and stuff, right? It's all there. Yes.
there's not, because what might seem to be trivial to someone else could be very traumatic to another person.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is where we actually misunderstand trauma. We think trauma only comes from traumatic things. No. It's
No,
what's traumatic to the individual.
yes,
Sometimes the tiniest, stupidest, silliest, idioticest little thing is massively traumatic to somebody else. We cannot disrespect that. It's traumatic
no,
to them. The experience of trauma is the same regardless of what it comes from.
yeah, yeah. It's
The
like, it's the same thing. It's like,
experience of trauma is the same regardless of what it comes from. Yeah.
right, right. It's like telling your, when your child is crying, telling them, what are you crying for? That's nothing to cry
Yeah.
over. Well,
Yeah.
to that child it is. Otherwise
Of
they wouldn't
course,
be.
that's why they're crying.
Yeah,
Exactly. 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 So
come on,
you have to
people.
get inside their thinking and understand why this was traumatic to them and get
Yeah,
them to see it doesn't need to be traumatic.
right. That's a big
Not,
difference. It
it's not,
doesn't need to be, even though it
exactly. And
is.
also, right, they have to see it, not you.
Right,
They have
right.
to see it, not you. So this is the key. This is
Or
the
that
key
if
to
it
capital
is
H healing.
traumatic to them, that they can feel safe enough to say, hey, this really hurt me. This
Exactly.
frightened me.
Exactly.
Because otherwise
Exactly.
we're going to grow up to be that
Exactly.
adult that is afraid to face
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 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 So just to finish the task and exercise here, I have a bit of free time today, so we can go a little over. Do you trust yourself that you can adapt and change and learn? Yes, sure does.
Mhm.
If not, why not? If not, why not? What all
That's a big
can you
question
do
there.
to change yourself? Exactly. Right? Ask us if you want to do more about changing yourself. Right? So us, meaning me here, or Sher, or Bina, right? Ask, 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 ask.
Mhm.
So we come to the end of this module 6, right?
But that
And it
is one of
says,
the biggest tasks ever. That is an enormous, that's, it's
yeah,
so easy to write. Ask us if you
yeah,
need help.
yeah,
It was my experience at asking for help.
yes,
I even see my own grandson struggle with that question, and so many other people afraid to ask for help
yes,
because of they
yes,
feel as though they
yes,
should
yes,
be
yes,
able to
yes,
manage.
yes,
They place themselves underneath that whole great big bubble of should.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't.
So I don't know
So
if you remember this, Sher, but I do. It's very significant to me. When you were in the group that you were in before, you knew
mhm,
me, right? And I came and I was helping the person who was running the group at the time,
right,
supporting them, right? Because they'd
right.
come and done a workshop on me. And I made a few appearances there and shared, and basically was just assisting things. And the person who was running the group, they were basically imploding, and I was sort of bailing them out a little bit. Right. And so I started to connect a little bit, and I was trying very hard not to sort of take over their situation there, because I don't want to be doing that. It's not cool. Right. And so I came, I shared a little bit. You, however, saw this opportunity and you reached out to me.
Yes, I
Remember that?
did.
You
Yes, I
reached
did.
out to me, not me to you, right? I reached out to some other people because they weren't getting this idea of being able to reach out. So I had to reach out to them, which I'm glad I did, right? And they ended up,
Mhm.
coming and partaking and participating in Way of Impeccability. But you reached out to me, something to be
Yep.
very proud of yourself for. It's a very big deal.
Yes, I
You
did.
reached out to
And I'm
me,
still
right?
here.
Yeah, yeah. And you're still
And I
here,
still do that
exactly.
regularly.
And
You know,
exactly, exactly. And
I
we
do.
have so much fun. We have so much
I
fun.
connect with you and Bina and other people when I
Exactly,
have a question that I am just struggling to answer,
exactly,
or I
exactly.
need a different perspective, or I need that
Exactly,
nudge in a
exactly,
specific direction.
exactly. This is the power of community.
Yeah,
Community is exponential. Community, if a community is truly a community, it is collaborative. If it's
yes,
not collaborative, it's not a community.
right,
It
right.
maybe
You have to
call
give,
itself a community, but if it's all competitive and bad, nah, sorry,
right.
that's not the community, right? The community is collaborative, right?
I
It
think it also has
shares.
to do with,
Yeah,
yeah, it has to do, to me anyways, with being able to ask also has to do with, first off, do you feel safe with yourself to ask? And then secondly, do you feel
exactly.
safe with the person that you're going to ask?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And all that I do for the most part is just really bounce stuff. But when I bounce it back, it doesn't come back quite exactly the same, right? It gets a little
Right.
bitty. So what I really am skilled at is providing alternative perspectives, multiple
Uh-huh.
perspectives. I can't offer you solutions, but I can promise you, and I will promise you, I'll even guarantee you alternative perspectives. This I
That's
have a
true.
great skill in doing. And that's it. That's what magic is, when you just share and you hear, oh wow, oh, I never thought of it that way. Ah, yeah, I forgot all about that. Oh gosh, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, off you go. It's so simple, really.
And it
It's
does
very
stick
magic.
eventually. It really does. It stuck,
Of course,
you
of
take what
course,
you
of
need and
course,
you share
of
and
course, of course.
share or leave the rest.
It sticks because you go away and you apply it and you do it.
Yeah, that's practice.
Yeah, exactly. Capital P practice. Cannot
Uh-huh.
emphasize it enough. So let's go to the last slide here, right? End module 6. And what does it say? What does it say? We'll get there in a second. It says practice, practice, practice. And then practice some more.
Practice some
Practice
more.
being who you'd like to be and really are. You don't have to be who you don't want to be and what doesn't work for you. Right?
Absolutely.
It's such a simple, simple thing, right? Right, that I'm saying here. So simple, but man, this is so incredibly profound. This is our whole life philosophy right there, right?
Right.
Practice, practice, practice. What does practice mean? It means doing things deliberately that you know that you don't know how to do.
Yes.
Why do you want to practice something that you already know how to do? You don't need to practice that. You already know how to do it, right? But if you don't practice, then you're never going to have the opportunity to learn, to get new perspectives, to get new alternatives, right? And
Yeah.
then
Just
you
because you
practice
know it
some more.
doesn't mean you can do it.
But also practice being. In other words, practice treeing. This is
Yes.
a
Yes.
great, it's a great verb to me, to tree.
Yes.
So practice
True.
treeing, because that's what a tree does. It just bees. Yes. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And we love trees.
Yeah.
Practice being like a tree. Yes. Being
Uh-huh.
who you'd like to be. A tree is who they want to be, or at least I hope so. Right? Yeah, trees. Okay. Yeah, they say, yeah, no, we all want to be who we are, right? We all enjoy liking and we like who we are. We like being. Yes. So this, you don't have to be who you don't want to be. This is a very key point. You do not have to be. That's right. I have to go to Georgianne, but I'm very thrilled that you were here. Very thrilled. Yeah. See you again next time, Georgianne. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. So this is key, right? Don't just assume that
Right.
you have to be who you are. You do not have to be who you are. If you don't like it, change it. Right, Sure?
Yes.
Don't like it,
Absolutely.
change it. Sure does this on a regular basis. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, constantly. I mean, I really love who I am at this point. It,
Yes. But you
and,
still
and I'm not
change.
even gonna, I'm not going to even say flaws and all. I
Exactly.
don't like that statement because
Exactly.
they're not flaws. They are just
Exactly.
parts of me.
Exactly. Exactly. But think of it like your clothing. I love my outfit today. Okay, it's not really an outfit. This is stuff that I wear even if I'm not on
Yeah.
Zoom. Just because I
Yeah.
can. There's no reason. I was outside yesterday. Oh, you're looking all smart. I said, yeah, well, it's just me. I was wearing it. My neighbor said to me, so I'm just, they were like, they didn't quite know what to say. But why not? It's like no reason not to wear nice things just when you're alone at home. If
Right.
you like it, you wear
Right.
it. If you don't, wear what you like. It's the same point, right? So I can
Right.
psychologically wear different clothes, different outfits, right? And I can be a bit fancy in my head. I can be very casual, but it's not one is better than the other. No, it's just as appropriate. What gives me joy,
Right.
right? And variation of being gives me great joy, right, sir? Same for you,
Right.
yes? Very, very
Exactly.
powerful. Very, very powerful. Totally wonderful. All right. That's a magical point. Any closing thoughts, observations, sharings?
No, just that I just think it is really kind of I'm going to use this word anomalous that I saw Bina's tagging me. I was lost deep in my own thoughts this morning and
Ah, yes.
didn't
Yes.
think about the day. And then I see this notice come along and I thought, wow, this is really awesome because this is
Yes.
exactly where
Yes.
I am right now
Yes.
with what
Yes.
I was working
Yes.
on
Thank you,
writing since
Bina.
yesterday.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
just really tied it all together and it gave me a few finishing missing thoughts that
Yes.
were just kind
Yes.
of
Yes.
stuck there.
Yes. 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 Thank you, Bina,
So
for
I'm
doing
good.
that. Thank you, Bina. Thank you,
Yeah,
Bina.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Bina.
And talk about anomalies and curious things. I said, any last closing thoughts? What did you say? No. And then you shared a whole bunch of closing thoughts.
Yeah, that's that language thing that I've got to fix. I was working
It's
on
too
it.
funny. I love when that happens. No,
Being mindful of my
but
language.
then they come. Then they come.
They
It's too funny.
do.
It's too funny.
They
All right,
do.
brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It's so wonderful, and thank you everyone for being here and joining and commenting. And I love when you guys share and comment. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So very
Um,
cool, very cool, brilliant, brilliant.
I'm
All right,
glad
bye
I got
bye
to work on
everybody,
too.
and yeah, yeah. You want to stay on, sure? Or
Yeah, I can for a few minutes.
okay, okay. All right, you stay there. I'm going to leave, and so I can end the recording. But let me just stop the live stream, and then so I'm just gonna leave and come back right then. Stops the recording. You stay right there.